Hello, how's everybody? This is the Ex-jehovah Witness, YouTube. This is like an update that I have to do, okay? On the tables that we have, because I noticed some things. Just some things that we're serious about as far as the table, as far as the table, the Jehovah Witness table that we're doing. Maybe I might make the table like the website. It's gonna maybe be called Ex-jehovah Witness Experience or something like that. Anyway, the table. Everybody knows that I'm doing a table. I had to find. I noticed some things. Like for instance, when I was writing them, I haven't been doing the corrections like I was supposed to. And then I find myself, I said, well, as time goes on, and if I want to reread it, if somebody has to read it when it's on the website, they're going to have a hard time because I didn't make so many corrections. So I decided to clean up as far as the grammar. I was kind of like laxing on the grammar. I don't like to worry about grammar, but it's important. And the spelling and things like that. So I'm going to go over it a little bit more and make the corrections before I do the YouTube on it. So that's one of the things I'm going to do. And another thing that I want to do is make clauses or sentences on each thought that I have. Usually I put them all together and I put commas and then I read it through. But that's not going to help when it gets on the website and other people are going to read it. And I don't want to finish all of these topics, all these tables, and all of a sudden I have to go back and edit them all, so I'm being more careful as far as editing is concerned. So what I decided to do is not just that, but I also have new topics, like for instance new things that come up. Remember in the miscellaneous that I have, okay, let me go over to it so that I can explain to you better. Okay, like in the main table, which is called, let me see. Okay, the main table, which is who are Jehovah's Witnesses, okay? Oh, okay. Okay, so the main table is who are Jehovah's Witnesses. That's where I'm drawing all the subtables from, okay? And I was on miscellaneous. Let me go down a little bit. I was up to miscellaneous, like I told you in the last video. I'm almost sure it's the last one. And miscellaneous had two topics, and I didn't take out the miscellaneous, but I took out the topics, and I'm going to keep miscellaneous for something, I'm not sure. So, and then in the miscellaneous was saying God bless you, and do not lie about anything. So I made saying God bless you as a table, and not lying about anything as a table. So, I hope you can follow me. So then all of these in the main table where I'm drawing all the other tables from are alphabetized, okay, from A to Z. So when I add new things, I click on the sorting A through Z, and it comes up with new ones, and sometimes they're in the first 20 that I've already done. So what I'm saying is that I have to go back and check each time if there's new tables to be done. I hope you follow me. So, so anyway, that's done. So what I decided to do is, first of all, clean up as far as the grammar and my phrases are concerned. Have each one, I number each thought that I want, instead of just doing, like when I'm reading it to you, I just randomly just read them all out. Now I'm going to do 1.1 and then point 2. It should be a clause or a sentence. Point 3, point 4, so that when it gets on the website, we can it's legible. Okay. So what I'm doing now, as far as the update is concerned, is I'm continually going through the tables, but I'm also going back and starting on number 1 and showing you the edited version, or the update version of the one that I did first, second, third, and first. So now I'm going to start. That was finished the update. Now you see what happened. So now the table that I just did was, let me see. So the table that I've just done was on don't lie about anything. Okay. Okay, so I hope you follow me. So now I'm doing, this is the new direction that I'm doing. What I've had changed, I'm being careful with the grammar. So when I read it out to you, and when you read it on the website, it'll be legible. So that's the first thing I'm saying, is that I was doing it too abstractly. I wasn't making clause, or sentence, clause. And I wasn't separating them. I was only separating them by comma. So now I'm separating everything by numbers, and it's either each number contains a clause or a sentence that's legible, okay? And I also make sure I correct the spelling. So that's going to be the difference that I'm going to show you now. And I'm going to go over it. Okay, now, there's also something else I want to say about the, how can I say? This one might just be an update table. I'm not sure. I don't know if I'll go into a table after I explain this to you or not. But, so what was I going to say? Okay, there's types of tables, which we have seen as I was doing this program here. One is, excuse me, one type of table, which we did already, 2 of them, is paranoia. Now, I'm also, because I don't have that much time, but it's very important that I use like the proper way of using certain words. Some of them I just adapt to the table, like paranoia, okay? I noticed when I looked it up, I'm not a psychiatrist. That's one thing in this station. I have an expertise, a definite, clear expertise of doing things. So because of that, I know you can't get into someone else's expertise. Like when I'm doing Dance Without Music, I have an expertise with the powers that we call, like, tension and things that we do when we exercise and walk and stuff like that. But I don't go over into like muscle structure and things like that. Anything that has to do with another field. So in this one also, I do the same thing. I don't go into, like, I'm not a psychiatrist or anything like that, so I don't go into it. But my expertise is explaining what happened to me and what happens to ex-Jehovah Witnesses in their being in the organization of the Jehovah's Witnesses, okay? So, when I was looking up paranoia, okay? Just another point I want to make, but I'm going to keep going with this one. I noticed that the terminology, the proper terminology, first of all, it's not used that much and it's very difficult to understand. And like I'm saying, it's like the adjective, using paranoia as an adjective, as a noun, as things like that in regular grammar, or like in tenses and things like that. It would be difficult for me to express and for you to understand, because I'm not in that field. So I'm going to adapt it to what we're doing here. Like, for instance, paranoia, I'm going to call it the paranoia table. I know you could be paranoid, but usually when they speak of it on Google or something like that, it's the proper terms that we don't even use, that we hardly use. Like, for instance, I was trying to say, I'm not diagnosing anybody. I don't know if that's the proper way, because I never use that term. And if I did, it would probably be not noticeable to you all. So I have to make it sound the way that you would understand it and I would understand it. So as far as the paranoid is concerned, I'm not going to call it a paranoid table. I'm going to call it a paranoia table. Okay? So if I use the term, any form of paranoia or paranoid, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it sound, and I'll explain it to you when I talk about paranoia table. So I am making it a paranoia table. The reason for that, like I said, I don't know if I'm using it in the right context, but for this, what we're doing is going to be used in the right context, which leads me to my point that I wanted to make. This thing that happened to the ex-Jehovah Witnesses, I can't say it happened to Jehovah Witnesses because they're agreeing with it. It's done so that you can't explain things. And that's the whole thing about the ex-Jehovah Witness experience. It's the fact that things have been done so that you won't be able to say, oh, they did this to me, or oh, they did that to me. It's the same references. It appears to be exactly the same things that they use as far as being prejudiced to people. I mean, like, for instance, like when the blacks were being prejudiced against, they would do things that they couldn't explain, okay? Things that they couldn't explain. I'll use one personal, I should maybe, but it's going to be, I don't know if everybody, I know you probably won't agree with me or whatever. But if I use it, then you will understand. Okay, I'm going to use it anyway. Okay, so it's like everybody familiar. I'm not on anybody's side, but everybody's familiar with, like, the Duchess or whatever of York, or I don't know what, not the Duchess of York, but the girl who married Prince Harry. Okay, it's impossible that they didn't face prejudice and that they're not lying. It's impossible, okay? So what I'm saying, but it's made so that they can't even express what happened, okay? They're almost in like they're delusional, okay? So because the system was made only for them, if anything goes against the system, anybody in that system will appear as delusional, okay? So they can't express, no matter what they do, they can't express what's really going on, because they're explaining a world that people don't associate themselves with. They don't live in that world. So they can't express that world in our world where we listen to news and things like that. So that's what I'm trying to say. So it's just like when you're being prejudiced against, even if you're prejudiced for whatever reason, okay? I mean, I fit into really bad categories. I mean, black, old, so many different categories. And it makes me I'm able to see that you can't express what's going on when somebody does something, okay? So that's pretty much what I'm trying to say is um, what they're being taught is really like the same things that they used to teach people to be prejudiced against certain groups, okay? And they're taught it's the same. It's almost like the same thing. I mean, I'm doing it right here. It's almost like they're teaching them prejudice. You know what I mean? Not just prejudice against blacks, or not just prejudice against. Oh wait, okay. I'm sorry. Not just prejudice against ex-Jehovah Witnesses, but they're prejudice against Christians themselves. Okay, because they actually say things against Christianity. I mean, they're afraid to be straightforward with it, but they are, because I'm doing this table and I can see that it's just a prejudice that they're doing, okay? Because they don't agree with something. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about as far as a paranoia. Okay, so there is a paranoia table. Now, when I opened up the miscellaneous, like I was saying, there was one about lying, okay? Lying is going to be in another type of table. It's going to be excessive. Let me see. Lying. Don't lie about anything, okay? That one, which I already have up. And this one is going to be over excessive, okay? Over excessive, okay? I had something else. Over excessive. Okay, I think that's what it is. I just called it over excessive. That's an over excessive table. So we have a paranoia table and we have over excessive table. When I reach in paranoia table or an over excessive table, I'm going to put the Jehovah Witness, the ex-Jehovah Witness, and then in the contrast section, I'm going to put over excessive or paranoia, okay? And then there's another one called superstition. I got this from the miscellaneous. And that one was God bless, saying God bless you, okay? So I have, it's a saying, let me see if I got it, if I put it up. Okay, so that one is saying God bless you. That one's in a superstition. So that's another type of table. And these are what I've come up with since I was doing this table. So it's refining the table. So we have 3 special tables other than the regular compare and contrast. We have the over excessive table, which I'm going to do right now. Then we have then we have another one, the sayings, okay? And like when someone says, God bless you, that would be under superstition. And then we have, which we did 2 of already, which are the paranoia. So the paranoia tables, okay? So I'm gonna call them paranoia tables. I hope everybody understands that. There's no way in the world I could do the terms the way it's properly done in the field, because I'm not in that field, you know what I mean? So like I said, I'm using some things because they deal with things that are not in this world, in the world like of Christians. And that's another thing that we came up with this. When we say world, and when the Jehovah Witnesses says world, I have merged that one so far because I have a meaning for it as Christianity. I mean, the Jehovah Witnesses use it for something, but I've updated it to, when I say world, I mean world. In this table, it means world of Christianity or Christians, okay? So that's it for the update. I'm trying to think now, should I just make this a separate one and then do the table? So this is going to be a separate one because it's already 19 minutes. So that's the update for this table. So to rehash or to whatever, I'm really terrible because I'm working. I know people don't understand. I'm doing this thing in linguistics to where I try to explain things. This is not done with other people, try to see the meaning of things without using broad vocabulary, which is showing me how meaning works. Okay, so that's what I'm really studying. I'm studying like this meaning, and it helps me with other languages. So it kind of affects, it's going to affect my, it already affected my, how can I say, just things I say in English, you know, idioms and things like that, you know what I mean? Things that, expressions in English. So, because now I'm like being more aware of what something means instead of just saying things, because we speak, this is just to explain a little bit about myself, because I noticed that we speak just, we just speak in things that we just know are going to work, okay? And we use words for, and we don't think about the words that we use, and it's just something like that. But anyway, I'll explain you. That's just something that I have that I'm doing on the side. That's just to explain to you that I'm, you know, I try to define things better. Instead of, there's two ways. You can have a broader vocabulary and keep adding to your vocabulary. My decision was to continually to understand or try and define in the sort of like the lowest terms, okay? Instead of looking for words, instead of building my vocabulary to where I can say this big word, I can say this big word, I can say this big word. No, what I want to do is I want to do it the opposite way, which is really helping me out with different languages, and because I am very interested in language, in defining things and being able to explain things more. So that's what I'm doing as far as I had to tell you that because it's you'll see it kind of the way, the things that I'm speaking about. So anyway, so that was the update, like I said. So I hope that everybody follows along the table. The table's really good. So the next thing I'm going to do is in the tables, it gives me more work because I'm checking things more. So I'm going to come up with a new table, and plus I'm going to update a table. So on the table section now, I should have an update on a table and also a new table. That's the way it has to be done. So when we get to finishing this, it will be legible, and it would be fun to read. Okay, so that's my update for the tables, and I hope everybody's doing well. I'm off today, that's why it's early. I want to go for a walk and relax a little bit. But anyway, because I have to study for something, for YouTube that I'm going to do tonight. Okay, thank you.